Welcome to the Reimagining Education, a podcast by Michigan International Prep School. I'm Amy Dunlap, and I am super excited to be on location today at the beautiful Northwood University at their Idea Center downtown to start talking about our partnership that we have with Northwood and all the amazing things that they have to offer. So I'm here today with Dr. Christy McDonald, the Executive Director of Traditional Undergraduate Admissions and Financial Aid at Northwood University. Your title is like almost as crazy as mine is. I love it because I always get the oh my gosh, your title is so long deal, but you do a lot here.
I do.
So thanks for joining me. I am like super excited to jump into what Northwood has to offer to students and what our partnership looks like. So let's dive right in. Like, what is Northwood University? When people hear Northwood, what do they think of?
Absolutely. So Northwood is America's free enterprise university. We really focus on being a small institution that we can actually give a lot of hands-on learning and a lot of attention one-on-one from our faculty to our students. In addition, we are actually surprisingly nestled in a little over 400 acres of woods, which you don't typically really expect for Northwood. I guess it is called Northwood, but it is a great place to learn. Also, we have a core values that we focus on, and all of our curriculum and our family and our students are built around that curriculum and that core values. So we have a thing that's called Fresh Air, and it has freedom and responsibility and empathy and spirituality all built into that. And that's what we drive our students to live every single day while getting a great education from industry-led faculty here at Northwood University.
That's so awesome. I think that you summed that up so well because even like driving into town and getting the feels, it feels homey here. It feels small. It feels, like everybody's just one big family. So it's definitely a cool spot to be. So we're talking a little bit about classes being on campus, but are there online options too, or how does sort of classes work for students?
Yeah, so we do offer some online courses as well. We have what's called the traditional on-campus program, but we also have an NU online program as well. Even as a traditional on-campus student living on campus in our dorms, there is some flexibility to take some courses online. So for example, you could take 2 classes in the classroom and then maybe 2 or 3 online. Gives you that flexibility where students can be more involved on campus, maybe have a part-time job, make it a little bit easier if they're interested in sports on campus or just want to be a leader in some of our signature events we have on campus.
That's awesome. So what are students doing for fun? I just heard you mention sports.
Yeah.
What other things are happening that if I'm a student here that I can go be a part of?
Absolutely. So we are a D2 school, and we also offer D1 hockey. As of this year was our first year, and they actually won they went to nationals for their first year. So, and we also have a D3 team as well, but we offer sports, anything from football, volleyball, cheerleading, you name it, we pretty much offer it. In addition, we also have a lot of club sports that they can do. We're actually interested in starting more if there's interest in other things. And so we're evaluating that right now. But in addition to that, we also have over 40 led registered student organizations on campus. And so we have Stand in the Gap, which is a Christian group on campus, anywhere from that to cornhole, pickleball. So there's a lot to get involved in. In addition to that, our student life area, they do events all week long. So when bachelor's on, they do bachelor watch parties and they cater food in for the students. During the Easter program, they did a whole Easter egg hunt and did a lot of activities that whole entire week to get students engaged, but also sometimes give back. So we really focus education at Northwood about giving back as well. Actually, today, right now, we are doing our spring Go Make a Difference Day on campus. And so a lot of our faculty and students and everything are actually volunteering today to clean up the campus, clean up the area. And we do a huge event in November, the first Friday of November, where it's a lot on a bigger scale. So they're out raking leaves for the community. And so I like to say when you come to Northwood, we'll teach you and give you a great education, but we also teach you to be a great human.
And I think that's a big part of it too. And, those are the skills. That's when I always hear students ask or people ask, like, what are students going to get when they leave? And it's those things as a teacher, I've always said, if students can leave as productive members of society, we're doing something right. And that's definitely what it's allowing them to do. So that's very cool to hear. Yeah. What's the, people always ask about class sizes. So what's the sort of student to professor ratio?
So if you look at our class sizes, you might have a class with 4 students in it. If it's a really, class is very, very, very particular, but you could go up to, I would say the highest class size you're going to get is 30. You'll see at Northwood, we have very few lecture halls. And the reason being is we don't offer classes of that size. So, and we do that to make sure that if a student has a question on a topic, they could just stay after class and talk to their faculty member. You don't have to schedule office hours 2 weeks out when the concept might have passed by then. In addition, it makes it very good for students to get to know their faculty. So for example, you see a lot of the time them standing outside of class and maybe debating on a topic or talking about the masters or something like that. So they really get to know their students. And we really pride ourselves on if you're a student that does not want to be called out or talked to in the class, Northwood's not for you. You won't hide in the classes here. And it's a really good thing because it's getting students sometimes out of their comfort zone, but you're actually being uncomfortable in a very safe environment. And so our faculty know that and they can recognize that about the student. And you'll see the big change from start of August to the end of December. They are totally different students because they've been giving that spotlight to basically do it at their own pace, and they become a very outgoing student by the end of that first semester.
And it's getting them ready for the world outside of, after Northwood. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What's something fun? You've already thrown out several things, but what's something fun or unique that most people wouldn't know about Northwood?
So actually, Northwood actually was founded in Elma, Michigan, in 1959, and we actually moved to Midland in 1960. And so we were given the land that we were given on. It's kind of a funny story that the guy that owned Dow, he actually gave the land to farmers that where our campus is on now. And so they started farming this land, and they found that there's too many field stones. And so it wasn't worth their time. So they basically relinquished their rights to the land because it wasn't good for them to farm. But then also it was given to Northwood at that same time. And so if you drive into campus, you'll see our signs, and they're made from field stone. And it's made from all those field stones that were brought up from the land when those farmers were trying to farm. And now we made our welcome signs and our entrance signs made out of those field stones. So it kind of goes back to the history where Northwood started and how we got to where we were going.
That's awesome. I love it. And yes, as the wife of a fifth generation farmer, the stones, you pick the fields every year and every year they just come back. It's amazing.
And another fun thing is we have a lot of wildlife on campus. So many times you'll walk around a squirrel if you're walking so actually our squirrels have their own Instagram page. And so our students run an Instagram page for our squirrels, and it's kind of a joke around campus, but you're starting to see some marketing things with a little bit of squirrels on them because they're just such a big part of our campus. Same thing with deer and turkey, but if you really like to be in that nestled setting in the woods, Northwood's a place for you.
That's awesome. So aside from, I would be interested in hearing what the squirrel page is so we can follow that. So can you give me that, but can you also give me, if folks want to get on and follow Northwood and everything that Northwood has to offer, where should they go to?
They can go on Instagram. Facebook also has a Northwood University page. TikTok is growing for Northwood. We're trying to really ramp that up, understanding that's where students get a lot of their information now. But if you go to the northwood.edu website, you can actually find everything on there from registration to events coming up, taking a look at all of our curriculums to kind of see what we offer. I know you're on an automotive base, but also just to explore what else we offer at Northwood, our sporting events, and then our upcoming big events like our auto show that's happening mid-September this year.
Which is super cool. I'm excited for this. Is going to be a series, everybody that's listening, and we're going to dive into the automotive later, which is super exciting. Talk to me a little bit about, so we have this amazing partnership with you guys to be able to help students sort of achieve their career goals. And I know, and you've already mentioned, we're kind of on that automotive track, but what does it mean to even do an early middle college program as a high school student? And what does it mean specifically to do that with Northwood?
Yeah, absolutely. So the early middle college program is, it's an elite program. It also helps our students get ahead of where they need to be coming in as a freshman student in the fall. We offer an accelerated bachelor's to master's program, which is a 3-year bachelor's program, 1-year master's of business degree. And those students who are taking those early middle college classes, they come in with those credits. And so therefore they could be like a regular student taking regular course loads, but also be on the accelerated track program. So it helps them accelerate their degree. But aside from that, if they are not interested in the accelerated program, it gives them a taste of Northwood. We like to say, let's test drive Northwood. No pun intended for the automotive industry, but let's test drive it. Let's see if I even like it. And it's always good for students to find out what they like or what they don't like before they spend money on a college education. And it's coming out of their parents' pocket or their pocket. So we really like to give those students like a test of what Northwood offers, see how we teach our classes, understand our values and what Northwood believes in, and allow those students to get a good taste before they jump in as a freshman student.
And I love that idea. I think about all the time, even as I went through my undergrad, a very long time ago now, there were students in my cohort with me who didn't realize until the end that education wasn't for them.
Right.
And so when you can come and actually get a taste of it and see in high school, when you're not paying for it, because we are paying for it,
yes,
that's a huge, a huge investment on a student's part to be able to do that for free and come out of it, almost debt free at the 100%. End and have a master's degree. Yep. We think about that traditional path is, I was just telling my son earlier this weekend that when I was in school, they pushed the AP classes,
yep.
And at dual enrollment, you didn't really hear about it. And now it's almost like go dual enroll so you can save yourself money and graduate high high school with an associate's degree and then go on and finish. And it's just a gift, I think, and something that I wish would have been happening, 20 plus years ago now. So yeah, that's exciting. Anything that you sort of want to, like, as we're starting to wrap up today, that you want to leave our listeners with or to think about?
Just to kind of facts, a little differentiators from Northwood University. When you look at Northwood, we're a private business school, but we also pride ourselves on giving our students the preparation to be lifelong learners, but also have a great return on investment. So we are actually ranked in the top 11% for return on investment from Georgetown University. And Forbes magazine just actually put us as the top 10% of all colleges and universities in the United States. To put that in perspective, there's over 5,000 colleges and universities in the United States, and we're ranked in that top 10%. This little university in the middle of Midland, Michigan, is really showing out, and actually employers are wanting our students. We can't produce them fast enough, especially in the automotive industry. They're actually coming to Northwood and say, could you give me more students? It's like, we can only educate so many at a time as they're rolling through our programs, but it's a good problem to have. And I think that getting a Northwood education really sets you apart from your other students coming from other colleges right from the get-go.
Well, and I think that's sort of the mic drop right there. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. We will, again, be carrying on this series, so keep watching for the next installments. And for more information on Michigan International Prep School, head on over to miprepschool.org or check us out on our social media channels, Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And we will see you next time on Reimagine Education, the podcast.
Reimagining Education is brought to you by Michigan International Prep School, a tuition-free K-12 online school. If you'd like to learn more about us and what we do, you can visit our website at miprepschool.org. That's miprepschool.org. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast, and we'll talk to you soon.